Hello, Mr. Squirrely. What do you know about anxiety? Huh? So anxiety, there's a fun topic, huh? Nobody wakes up in the morning and decides they want to be anxious. It just kind of overtakes people most of the time. And sometimes anxiety can turn into panic attacks and phobias and other types of disorders that really cause problems in people's lives. So what exactly is anxiety, and what's the difference between that and panic and a phobia? Maybe we can figure that out. Sometimes anxiety can feel like your mind going a zillion different directions at once. In small doses, anxiety can be helpful. They can help keep us on track. It's like procrastinators like me tend to work better with a deadline that's looming instead of one that's like out there a few weeks. So that kind of anxiety works for me, but it doesn't work well for a lot of people. When anxiety is too severe or it occurs too frequently, then it becomes a problem. It can actually debilitate people. I mean, they can actually quit their life and just pretty much stay home because they're too anxious to go out. So that was attractive, wasn't it? So what is anxiety anyway, right? We hear that word all the time. Lots of us have anxiety. Notice I say us in that. Anxiety is a normal mental and physical response to a perceived threat. Sometimes it's a real threat, sometimes it's not a real threat, sometimes it's a real threat that we just like magnify and blow out of proportion. Some people are afraid of squirrels. Thankfully, I'm not one of those people because there's squirrels here in this cute little park that I'm in. Let's see the squirrel before we keep talking about anxiety, right? There's Mr. Squirrely. Not the greatest shot, but he's over there eating. It's another 102-degree day today. And Mr. Squirrely is over there eating. He's not anxious. Not unless a hawk comes around. There's another Mr. Squirrely hiding in the bushes. Hello, Mr. Squirrely. What do you know about anxiety? Huh? You tell people just to chill out, right? Eat a leaf. Eat an acorn. Huh. Cute little bugger. So, back to anxiety. Now that we had our squirrel moment, which may or may not be in the middle, it might be at the end, who knows? That's the joy of editing. So what are the symptoms of anxiety? I'm sure you know these already. Hopefully I don't have kids in the background there. So one of them is uncontrollable worry or well, not just one. Here's the list. And there's more symptoms than just these, but this is some of them, some of the more common ones. It's uncontrollable worry, excessive nervousness, increased heart rate, nausea, poor concentration, muscle tension, fear avoidance, upset stomach, sleep problems, and the list goes on. Sounds like a joy, doesn't it? That's why people with anxiety are so misunderstood. Same with people with depression, because they don't look sick, but they have all these symptoms. So what are the types of anxiety? There's different types, besides just flat out annoying anxiety, right? There's generalized anxiety, which is basically excessive amounts of anxiety about several areas of life, like work or home or school or loved ones or health or finances, things like that. It's kind of all-encompassing. And then there's phobias, which is a specific excessive fear of something. It can be literally anything. Some of the more common ones are like fires. Well, fires is a phobia, and a healthy one. Fire, I wasn't going to say fire, but I'm using fire now. Spiders, I was going to say spiders. I don't know where fire came from, but there you go. Giving speeches in public, snakes, water, going outside, clowns. Clowns is one. There's thousands and thousands of types of phobias. Again, a phobia is not just, I don't like spiders and I don't like dogs, or I don't like whatever. It's an extreme, excessive fear of that thing. I'm watching the squirrels again. I'm having squirrel moments. This is a cute little park that we're at today. It's the middle of the day and school just started, so most of the kids aren't here. Thank goodness, because there's a giant playground behind me. There are some kids behind me way back there. I was trying to keep out of there, but anyway, so another type of anxiety is panic. People use that word a lot, but they don't really mean panic. What they mean is they just got frustrated or they, freaked out for a minute, but panic is its own monster. Panic is an extreme anxious response, extreme, way over and above what it should be, that just comes on, like out of nowhere. You're standing in the post office and all of a sudden you feel like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And the individual who's experiencing these panic attacks, they have panic attacks when they're having extreme panic. They have lots and lots of physical symptoms. And that is a whole nother video, which we will do. So don't be discouraged. But basically the difference between anxiety, generalized anxiety, phobias, and panic is panic includes this overwhelming fear of dread. Like it comes on out of the blue, you're overtaken by this sense of dread and this uncontrollable urge to like get out, get away, I gotta move, I gotta just get out of here kind of thing. Lots of times people with PTSD, which again is going to be another video, will have panic attacks. But you don't have to have PTSD to have a panic attack. And you don't have to have multiple panic attacks. Some people have one and they never have another one. Some people have one and then if you have another one and then another one, then pretty soon you have a panic attack and a phobia about having panic attacks. So you stay home, which is very common, unfortunately. I see you, Mr. Butterfly. Where'd you go? He says, I'm out of here. Oh, hello. Hi, Butterfly. Are you hot? Did you find water? Oh, wait, you went out of the shot. Okay. Hi, Butterfly. I don't think I can get you. I think you're going to fly off if I go near you. Did you get too hot? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Is that you? That's you, huh? Oh, there you are. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. You're so beautiful, huh, Mr. Butterfly? Oh. So how come anxiety seems to get worse and not better? Because we have this anxiety about this thing, whatever this thing is, and we avoid that thing because we don't want to face that thing, whatever it is. And then we have this, I don't have to deal with that thing, whatever that is. But then, a little while later, here it comes again. Dang, that anxiety's back. Why is it back? And why is it worse than it was before? Because you avoided it. And when we avoid things, when it comes back around again, it's worse. And so we avoid it even more. And then we go, whew, I didn't have to deal with that thing. But then that relief doesn't last as long this time. And then it comes back again. And it's even worse. And it goes around and around and around in this vicious cycle. The trick is to stop the cycle somewhere along the line and start challenging those negative thoughts, those irrational thoughts, which is another video that we will do because it's too complicated to get into right now. One of the ways to deal with like a phobia or an extreme fear or anxiety is to do exposure therapy. Technically, you would want to do it with a therapist because sometimes it can get a little panicky. But basically the gist of exposure therapy is, let's say you're afraid of snakes, which is a real rational fear. I mean, you don't want to be clumping around in the high weeds when there's rattlesnakes in the area. You want to be cautious, you want to be concerned, but you don't want to worry excessively like, oh, I can't go over there. I can't do it because there might be a snake. Well, there might be, but just be concerned, Don't be alert, but don't let it debilitate you. So exposure therapy for something like snakes would be to, let's say, if it's an extreme phobia, let's say you just hear the word snake, or you say the word snake, or you listen to somebody telling a story about a snake, or you look at a picture of a hog going down the road. You look at a picture of a snake, you know, that kind of thing. And then you work up to watching maybe a black and white video of a snake, and then a color video of a snake, and then being in the same room with a snake. And then eventually you work up to where you can actually touch a snake. Not a rattlesnake, but a snake. So, you know, that's kind of exposure therapy. That's, again, probably another video in itself. Then there's other ways to deal with anxiety. One of them is cognitive behavioral therapy, and you probably hear that a lot, CBT. That's the acronym in the biz is CBT. That's just basically changing your thinking patterns from unhealthy to healthy. And that's interrupting that thought process that goes from, oh, well, here's this anxiety thing, I'm going to avoid it, and how about if I just, you know, don't do it, and then you get anxious again, and then it goes around in a circle. So it's interrupting that pattern. Another way to do it is relaxation skills. That's another video, because one of the ways to do it is, it's called Leaves on a Stream. Doesn't that sound crunchy? Leaves on a Stream, and other kind of relaxation skills like deep breathing, the 5 senses, which is also another video. I can tell you basically 5 senses. And then there's progressive muscle relaxation, visualization. You know, if you visualize a stream or something that's really peaceful, creating a happy place or a safe place in your mind, and you build on that, those kind of things really do help. You wouldn't think that they do, but they do. So you have to practice it when you don't really need it. So when you do need it, it becomes a more powerful way to manage that anxiety in the moment. Something like visualization of maybe like a nice creek or stream rippling by, minus the background car noise. Things like that, that can help too. So the deal with the 5 senses is kind of fun. I'll put a little picture of what the 5 senses are in the video. So basically what that is to use all your 5 senses when you're trying to ground yourself. Because when you ground yourself and you like be where your feet are, it tends to center you a little bit more. I know that sounds so yoga, sounds so crunchy, but still, it helps to manage anxiety, because with anxiety, we tend to go too far into the future, and we come up with these what ifs and all of these things that could happen. More than likely, they're not going to happen. We make them as worse than they are. Another video. But 5 senses. What are your 5 senses, right? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell? And what do you taste? So you have those 5 senses. If you're having an issue with anxiety, stop in the moment, unless you're driving, pull over. And you want to use your 5 senses. It's like, okay, name 5 things that I can see right now in this moment. It's about 102 and my phone is not liking it. It keeps shutting off on me again. So apparently summertime videos are going to be a little difficult. Thanks for joining me on that quick little unplanned mental meander. I hadn't expected to do a video today, but I got off work early. I hope you were able to get something out of that. I know anxiety is a real popular topic these days, because I think a majority of people have anxiety to some degree about something. I'll do another follow-up videos on different aspects of anxiety, like, you know, how to manage it better with like the 5 senses and, you know, visualization and things like that, and the different types of, the difference between like panic and phobia. I know I kind of touched on that, but there's more detail to that I can make later when it's hopefully not 102. Anyway, so that's about all I have for now. Thanks for joining me, and I guess I'll see you later.